Okay. Okay, folks. Welcome to another Thursday. Another Thursday. Welcome to Thursday Night Stock Charts Live. This is where we review the closing price action of the major averages, some subsectors. But I'll tell you, tonight's going to be a real hairy night. A lot of earnings after hours. Excuse me, I just ate peanut butter. We had Twitter, Facebook, Amazon. Not good. The price action anyway. Let's go to the headlines really quick. Let me say hello to everybody. Interdimensional Lizard. Let's hear about some contrarian trading. You got it. Members, I didn't send out a text. I sent out an email to save a couple of pennies. We closed out the Twitter short after hours. That is done. No, we did not short it at the highs. We just scalped the profit like 3%. Not what you might think. It's down 15%. We didn't book a huge profit there, but a profit nonetheless. First out, best out. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. WG Shocker, good evening to you, sir. Trader Isaac, hello again. Thank you. Smash that like button if you would. Larry Jedi, like a call on gold today. Thank you, sir. The miners, yep, GDXJ. Paul, hey, Paul, good morning. You know, I saw that you said good morning this morning, I believe, or was it last night? And I didn't say hello back. My apologies. Whenever the last time you were live with me, I forget. These roll into one big loop sometimes. OG1 Kenobi, every time I see that name, I have to laugh. Great name, as always. Good to have you. Trisha. Hello, Trish. Thanks for joining in, OG1. As long as you could stay, it's cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for checking in. All right, so the headlines after hours. Big, big, big. Apple. I'm just going to go over the headlines. I haven't gone into the numbers yet. Apple plunges after iPhone sales miss. And China revenues plummet. No joke, right? Just in time for the election. Lack of forecast. No forecast. Bad earnings. What are they doing? Nightmare. We have no exposure to any of these names, thank God, except for the short of Twitter, but that's closed now. Amazon. Amazon slides despite crushing expectations, guiding sharply higher on AWS growth. Margin concerns. That's Amazon Web Services, I believe. I'll dig into these reports later on. Twitter. Did anybody see Jack Dorsey during those hearings yesterday? I mean, he needs a steak. There's something going on there. Twitter tumbles after massive user growth miss. And those shares are getting annihilated. We're just off the lows of the session. Facebook. Facebook shares pump and dump. Yes, I did see earlier they spiked up higher despite crushing earnings, warns of significant uncertainty. Again, I'll dig into these numbers and the story later on. I don't want to spend too much time digesting this. Way too many charts to go over. A lot to talk about. I'm going to go over the weekly charts, but, you know, my pretty safe guess is that the NASDAQ 100, therefore probably the S&P 500, is in free fall right now. Let's go with the S&Ps first. Dropping off the lows of the session. NASDAQ 100, bloodbath. off the lows of the session. I would expect some sort of Fed intervention. We're not down horribly right now, but this is the type of news in front of the earnings they're going to have to respond to. In front of the election, they're going to have to respond to. Okay. Take a look at the small caps after hours. Okay. All right, it's not going to be a pretty morning. Let's take a look at the dollar. Are we seeing a flight to safety? Perceived safety? Not much. Flat from the close. Gold. Another fear trade. Catching a bid. Up slightly. Just basically flat here. We did buy gold miners this morning on weakness. They did close positive. Okay. All right, let's go to the, let's check out Bitcoin. Bitcoin down. All right, let's go to the weekly price action. This is, I always like to say, on Thursday nights when I do the weekly chart, normally we do these commentaries with the weekly charts, and I always like to say that one day makes a difference, meaning we have one trading day left to go, not only in the week, but in the month. So tomorrow is going to be a critical day. So we know that what we're looking at right now in terms of closing price action is probably going to change dramatically by tomorrow's close. So let's begin with the bond market. The bond auction today did not go well. They had to pay up on yield. So you saw yield spike, and while the TLT is up on the week, on a daily time frame, hammered on the week, or the day. What happened to yields? Let's make sure this is updated. Yields, bullish key reversal bar on the week. A very, very bullish chart on Treasury yields. Now, tomorrow, you may see money rotate into bonds, out of stocks, into bonds, forcing yields down lower. That will not be good for the banks. And these rising yields, if they continue, will not be good for tech. We have not been buying tech. We've been buying commodity names. ExxonMobil, I was going to lead off with that article. They're laying off 15,000 workers to preserve their nearly 11% dividend yield. Now, I'm not happy to say that people are going to lose their jobs, but taking off my humanitarian cap and putting on my Wall Street cap, it's favorable for the share price. The fact that they want to preserve that dividend. So as an investor, I'm happy with the news. As a human being, as an American, as a decent person, I'm sad to hear that people are going to lose their jobs. But it's going to be over the course of the next few years. And a lot of it's going to be by attrition, not by pink slips. So hopefully those people do well and there's not a lot of damage done. But yields looking bullish on the week. Treasury inflation protected securities coming under pressure on the week. We are weak and getting weaker. And I'm concerned about staying too long on the gold miners because generally, if you take a look at the gold miners and you overlay, you can do this with gold. I'm going to use the GDXJ. I haven't done this in a while, so hopefully there hasn't been a major change. Behind price, we'll make it appropriately gold. You can see that. Typically, let's smooth out the noise here a bit. Go to a monthly chart. Well, you know what? The weekly chart's better. You can see that traditionally, TIPS, Treasury Inflation Protected Securities, trade in tandem with gold miners, gold, etc. And the fact that they're weakening does not bode well for the gold miners. So yeah, we added to that position today. I don't know how long we're going to stay or how much bigger we're going to get. If gold begins to break out on fear concerns that the economy is going down and gold miners follow suit with gold, that's a good thing. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes because gold stocks are in fact stocks. If you see a sell-off in stocks like you saw back in February, March, gold stocks will go down with it, with the rest of the market, while gold will hold its value. U.S. dollar, higher lows. Bullish setup here, I have to say. I don't want to say it, but I have to say it. They're locking down over in Europe again. The dollar is putting in higher lows. We don't have a breakout yet on a weekly time frame. Stokes, higher lows, and now breaking out. RSI, higher lows. So with one trading day left to go in the week, the dollar's looking pretty good. And again, that's not gold bullish. That is not gold miner bullish. It's not silver bullish. So keep an eye on the dollar. It matters if you're bullish on gold and silver. VIX, obviously a very powerful week this week. We got overbought. We pulled back. No great shock. You take a look at it on a daily time frame. We did close down below a support level. We did rally back off the lows of the session in the final minutes of trade. You can bet your bottom dollar that the VIX is spiking on the futures market right now. The Dow Industrial Average on a weekly time frame, we have broken support. And this is why I shared this with members earlier that you go to a daily chart, one day does not make a trend. And in fact, what they did is they sold the markets off in the final minutes of trade today. Let's go to a 3-minute chart. Look at the selling, the final few minutes of trade on the day. And you saw that with the Qs, even more dramatically with the Qs. Somebody was in the know. They knew to get out. The Dow Transports weekly time frame, we are hanging on by a very thin thread on the transports. If we close down below 10,900, it's all over for the Dow Transports. We're going a lot lower. The S&P 500 down nearly 4.5% on the week, poised to go lower, absent Fed intervention. If Powell calls the money center banks and tells them stop buying up S&P futures, then we'll live to play another day. They'll squeeze the shorts and they'll carry us through to November the 4th. What happens after that? I don't know. Kind of nervous, to be honest with you. So we have lower highs across the board. These are not bullish charts. These are warning flags. Big, big warning flags. The only positive I have to say about this week so far is that volume is not huge. It's poised to roll in higher than last week, but it's not huge. Small caps down over 4.75% on the week. Volume already above average relative to recent prior up and down weeks, but on a longer term time frame, still well below the moving average. But this includes the COVID sell-off and the rebound. Relative to pre-COVID volume bars, this is pretty high. And that would hold true for the Dow Jones, S&P 500 on a weekly time frame. The banks, down nearly 6% on the week. 50-period moving average going to cross down below the 200-period moving average. Absent an act of God, it's going to happen. So the moving average is going in all the wrong directions right now. The Qs, weekly time frame, quite probable double top here on the Qs. And we've been warning about this. You know, it goes back to, I remember whatever commentary I did. It was either Sunday Night Futures Live or Thursday night Stock Charts Live back here. On the 12th of October, where I said we're very, very overbought. We haven't been this overbought using the Bollinger Bands in a long, long time. It's very rarely happens that we lean into that third standard deviation Bollinger Band and hold it. I knew we weren't going to hold it, and sure enough, fast forward to where we are right now, this is a market that's under a tremendous amount of strain. Back to the weekly chart. One thing I do need to say about this chart is you take a look at your ultimate oscillator, is that while we're down significantly on the week, nearly 3% on the week, take a look at your ultimate oscillator. Talk about a divergence. We're holding the lower band of support. We've been in a downtrend relative to an uptrend on the ultimate oscillator, yet we're hooking up this week. Strange. Volume rising, but still below the longer-term moving average. Technology, really, really weak. If we break down below 109.11, S&P 500, you have a correlation with technology. 79% of the times, they trade in tandem. So, if XLK goes, in all probability, so goes the S&P 500. Volume, high. Let's drill down further to the semiconductor level. And the semis are down over 3.25 percentage points on the week. You take a look at names like NVIDIA. It's down. This is a leader. This is a leader in the space. Down over 4% on the week. You know, Intel is just a mess. It's down nearly 8.5% on the week. My God. Let's take a look at a monthly chart on Intel. We only have one trading day left to go. I mean, this is bad. I think we're going to probably see, before all is said and done, mid to low 30s on Intel. At a minimum. And I'm not happy to say that. But this is an outside monthly reversal bar. And if we break and close down below 43.09, I mean, we're a stone's throw away from my price target, because you're going to see the algos, they are just going to unleash hell. Once you begin to see the weekly charts and the monthly charts begin to put in, like Intel's there. You already have lower highs and lower lows. The downtrend has begun. Algos are going to be leaning in. Each time we break new support levels, they're just going to sell. So it's not a human sitting there biting his fingernails, deciding whether to sell. They're just going to sell. They're programmed. So I would not catch a falling knife here with Intel. I think the rest of the semi sector is going to go. AMD has been a leader here. It's down nearly 5% on the month. I don't mean to be doom and gloom, but the charts are sending us signals. We haven't had, if you look back to February, March, piece of April, when we were selling off, we're not there yet. We're nowhere near the panic that we saw back then. It's quite conceivable that absent some real serious intervention, that we're going to be in that hole yet again. I mean, take a look at the weekly chart of AMD. I mean, you want to put annotations on this. We'll revisit it. I'll schedule this out for another couple of weeks, and we'll revisit it. But what we're seeing here is quite probably a head and shoulders setup, left shoulder, head, right shoulder on AMD. And we are going to break to new lower lows. RSI sending us signals. Price action sending us signals with lower highs. Now all you need here is confirmation. Do we break this support level or do we hold? That's the question. That's the only question. Do we hold 73.85 on AMD? These are the questions. We begin to break down to new lower lows after putting in lower highs. It's not good. It's bad. And you need to flip the switch a bit. It takes, for those that are new to trading and haven't really lived through a bear market, you can make money in a bear market. You need to short. And you need to trade extreme oversold stocks rather than buy and hold. You can't buy and hold unless you have names that are beaten down. They've been through hell, like Exxon, for instance. ExxonMobil, it's down over 50% on the year. It's been through hell. Now you have the threat of when we reopen these economies. Europe is going into lockdown now. But as they reopen yet again, you can have demand for energy. They've gone through, or they're in the process of restructuring. They're going to be lean and mean. The damage to the shareholders has already been done. They're preserving the dividend to retain existing shareholders to reduce volatility so they can weather this bear market in oil. And then once things get cleared and the economies reopen, they will do quite well, and they'll probably recover more rapidly than these high beta tech names, which are frankly a bubble. I've been talking about Microsoft being a bubble. I did a video. I'm not going to bore you with it. It's a bubble. You look at the price to sales on Microsoft, it's greater than Tesla. Think about it. You're paying more for dollars worth of sales on Microsoft than you are of Tesla. And you take a look at a RSI on a quarterly and yearly time frame, nothing screams bubble more than Microsoft. I did a video on it. I'm not going to bore you. I did it a couple of days ago. Go check it out. It's on YouTube and on the blog. Biotechs down. This is a leveraged ETF, so keep that in mind. 3 times leveraged ETF. So when you look at the percentage here, let's keep that in mind. So down about the index were at the XLH. That's the healthcare sector. Whatever biotech stock we should be referencing, other than the leverage. I forget what it is off the top of my head. The BIB, is it? Down about 2% on the week. We broke out on the biotech ETF several weeks ago, and this is interesting, this setup. We broke out here, The week of October the 5th, huge sell-off. Now we're retesting the breakout point. Does it hold? We'll watch and see. Volume is very light this week to the downside. That's optimistic. So we'll keep on the eye on the biotechs. Is there opportunity there? We did do some buying of biotechs earlier in the week. Small position, not big. As a matter of fact, I want to see how we closed out. Burning Rock, BNR. We flashed a bullish reversal bar. Last time I looked, we were down on the day slightly. Good. So this is one of our positions, and it looks as though it's ready to break out higher. Good. Good stuff. Okay. Consumer discretionaries. I know Starbucks was supposed to report today. Hammered. All right, positive headlines, but the devil's in the details. It lost $1.2 billion in fiscal Q4. Is it the pandemic or the store burnings? I don't know. Which is worse? Okay. Back to the charts. Energy to me is the chart of the day. This is a weekly chart, but the chart of the day, I'll go to the daily chart in a moment. But energy is hanging on by a thread, honestly. It has broken support on the week. We need a strong day tomorrow. Looks like we're setting up for a W formation or a hopefully, fingers crossed, a higher low on energy. Now think about it. Look at the damage that's been done here on the energy sector. I'd rather be buying these than speculating on technology right now in a rising interest rate environment. Daily chart. Beautiful day. A bullish key reversal. An outside reversal day. Call it cupcakes, call it what you will. A beautiful day. We recaptured support on volume. Very nice. These are the stocks I want to be involved with. Take a look at U.S. Steel. We booked profits on U.S. Steel earlier in the week. I want to buy it back. Hopefully on weakness tomorrow. Look at this day. Bullish key reversal bar. What's going on out there? Steel going up. Energy doing good. I don't know. These are the names I'd rather be involved with. Oil crushed this week. Down 8%. This is a problem for the energy stocks. GDXJ, where's my gold? Let's go to gold. Let's go to gold. We'll drill down on gold. Let's go to the monthly chart first. Now, here's the problem with gold. Is that gold could go lower here. Gold had broken out back in July. New all-time highs in August. Then it broke down in September. We attempted to recapture support. This month, failed. We closed out the day at 1868. That 1900 mark is critical psychological support. Not good. I think we go lower on gold into November. This is seasonally a poor period This is a seasonally weak period of time of the year. The only thing that I held out hope for was that you'd see buying of gold in advance of the election due to fear concerns. That still may happen. Daily chart. WG Shocker. Smash the like button. Thank you, WG. Thank you very much. Yeah. Interdimensional. I love that name. Interdimensional Lizard. Yeah. What was wrong with him yesterday? Jack Dorsey. It was scary. It was like he was in front of Ted Cruz. His appearance, he looked as though he was a matador waving a red cape at a bull. I don't know what was wrong with that guy. He just invited abuse the way he appeared yesterday. Even Zuckerberg looked good relative to Dorsey. Sure, I could, Nadia. Okay, gold. Now let's go to the daily chart. I meant to go to the daily chart. Maybe we'll see some buying in advance of the elections, but we may tomorrow. We're dancing around on top of that third standard deviation Bollinger Band. Expect a pop here. I don't like these Stokes. They're very weak. But the Bollingers, we're flirting with a bounce off of them. Down volume dropped today, which is good. And the weakness that we're seeing in the after-hours session at current, you may see some money move into gold out of fear. We'll take a look at it, ZM. Did you know who put this out? I forget who put this out, but did you know that ExxonMobil has a market capitalization below Zoom, the chart you just requested? I looked at that. Only 7 years ago, ExxonMobil was the world's largest company by market capitalization. Now it's smaller than Zoom. Bubble. All right, Cal-Maine Foods. We don't need to go over that. Silver we need to go over. Very weak on the week, pardon the pun. Down over 10%. No reason to go adding here. We do have a position, small one. We tested the market. It didn't work out. I like it longer term. I like gold longer term. But short term, these charts are just not playing ball. Boeing. We need to rally back tomorrow on Boeing, or else a new monthly low is going to set a new round of selling. Breakdown on our side. We had broken out. Now we're flirting with a breakdown. Boeing not looking good. How do we do today? I think it's poised for a pop. You're going to get a stochastic pop here. Probably tomorrow. Price action. Doji star formation. A sign of possible reversal of trend. I think Boeing looks good here. I think we're going to pop. All right, let's get to some chart requests. I have a bunch to go over from members. Then I will go over and take as many as I can. 6:34. We have a good amount of time here. So let's use it wisely. And let's go change our background to that of our sponsor, which is TrendSpider. Automated technical analysis at its finest. There's a 35% discount code below. Use CON35. You must use the link, though, to go over their website. Why? I don't know. But great tool to have in your toolbox, automated technical analysis. And let's begin with, I need to go to members first. Ride. Lordstown Motors. Let's go to a monthly time frame. I'm not familiar with this company, so I need to Oh, there's not much data. It's like a new issue. All right, not much to work with on a monthly time frame. It's not a good monthly chart. It's very, very bad. Weekly chart? Niet. Where's my volume by price? It has no volume by price. Okay. All right, let's throw some automated trend lines up here, see if anything pops up. This is where we're going. Click of a button. Think all the time I just saved. Click of a button. We're going down here. All right. I have to look at what this company does before I ever executed a trade on it. But it looks like it's going to be due for a bounce. If we do hit the support level, that makes it interesting. I would want to check, A, to make sure that there's no ongoing concern issues with the company, obviously. B, what is the short interest? Is there the potential for a short covering rally? So that's what I'd be looking for primarily. Daily chart. I think we're going down to $12 a share. That's about where this alert is set. I would not be a buyer here. I would avoid. And you can see that if we take off this automated trend line, right, reapply it, and what we have above is a consistent upper band of resistance. Every time we rally into it, we fade. And this time, these two peaks here, it was so weak, it never made it up to the upper band of resistance. So be careful. The 200 period, actually, this is the 20 period moving average, is acting as stiff resistance. Be very careful with this stock. I think it goes lower. Diego, hello. Good evening all. Thanks, Bob. An update on OPTT. Yeah, I did a video on OPTT a few weeks ago. Hey, Tom, Shop, you got it. Yeah, that's right. Shop, and I did earnings today. That's right. And that's a tell. When you have a stock that they've reported good earnings on the headline anyway, they could even have forward-looking guidance that is good. It's probably priced into the stock if it's trading down. So it's not unusual for that to happen. It's just, that's what you call a tell. Right? The market's sending you a signal. Don't buy it based upon headlines. Use the chart. Let the chart do the work for you. So ride, concluding here, I would avoid. Wait for your alert to get hit at around $12 a share. ZDGE. Another one I don't know about. ZDGE. Monthly time frame first. Big breakout. You can't buy it though. Look at that breakout. Nice. And the reason why you can't buy it, it's very extended on a monthly time frame and a weekly time frame. Day traders own this right now. And they're going to get burned. You can see over here in white, this is the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. I use it all the time. One of my favorite indicators. And this is the second consecutive week that we are poised to close above it. This will not end well. People are going to get hurt very, very soon on ZDGE. Daily chart. Looks like it's already begun. Daily time frame. I would not be a buyer of these shares right now. We could revisit it in a couple of weeks. If they trade sideways and thus alleviating this overbought condition through consolidation, then we'll revisit it. We'll draw our trend lines, upper band of resistance, lower band of support. If we break out, okay, game on to the long side. But that's not normally how these end. They don't end well. So they usually pull back pretty hard on profit taking. So I would avoid ZDGE. I would watch it. That's it. Franklin, hello, sir. IBM. Another bloodbath story. I think I have an alert set on this one. It may have expired. But this is where I think we're going. We're already within the sensitivity range. I want to take that sensitivity down to basically 0. All I want to know is if we overshoot on a monthly support level and then reverse to close back above it. I think that we're going lower on IBM. All right, so I don't want to buy it if it taps that support level. I don't care, because if it taps it, there's a good probability with the way this chart's setting up right now that we break through and probably not touch and bounce. So I want to get alerted when all these events occur. It may take a couple of weeks. But I think that IBM, unfortunately, is going to go lower. And we're going down into the 90s, and we closed out the day at 108.51. We're gonna touch the 90s at a bare minimum. Weekly chart. Weekly chart, we're flirting with that support level I just referenced. Daily chart. I see no reason to buy on a weekly time frame. It was an up day today, but one day does not make a trend. I think that we are probably going to stall out here at 109.68. We may bounce around. They may try to recapture it, but ultimately I think it rolls over and breaks down to new lower lows. Why? It's because weak stocks tend to get weaker until they stop going down. Simple as that. So right now, IBM under a tremendous amount of pressure. I get no joy out of saying it. So I'd like to see it recover. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's in the cards at current. All right, let's take some requests. PBR. Zoom. We'll take a look at SHOP. OPTT. And I'll leave it off with JKS. Okay. How much time do we have? We have 15 minutes. We should be able to do that. All right, PBR. That's Petrobras. Oh, Petrobras, yeah. Nice day today. Let's do a higher level view. It's consistent with other energy stocks in that the monthly chart is clearly in a defined, well-defined downtrend, right? As identified by lower highs and lower lows. Now, what we're looking for on PBR, on the XLE, on ExxonMobil, of which I am long, we're looking for higher lows. These charts all look alike. So the question is, do we hold and put in a higher low? I think there's a good chance. Why? Because at some point in time, these economies are going to reopen. The economies that are closing down, they have the highest rates of COVID. Sweden never locked down. Their COVID cases are one of the lowest in the Western world. France is like this, and they're locking down again. So at some point in time, they're going to get the message that when you have less than the 3% fatality rate, and even lower when people are below, let's say, 65 years old, they're going to have to reopen the economies or else go broke. So once they realize that and people get back to work, which is what they should be doing, you're going to see energy stocks, you're going to see inflation rise, energy rise, gold rise to try to fight back the demand, the pent-up demand for goods and services. We don't have that right now. We're entering another period of deflation, which is why I'm concerned about gold in the short term. Longer term, I think it's going a lot higher. So PBR, it's a recovery play. I'm not sure what it's yielding. Let's answer that question now. I prefer ExxonMobil because I know I have a management team that is out there defending the dividend very aggressively. This is yielding, it's a reasonable dividend yield, but I'd prefer this one. ExxonMobil yielding 10.5%. And you have management aggressively defending it. So as it stands right now, at this snapshot in time, the dividend is safe. That question is answered. So back to PBR. ExxonMobil was not your request. We'll go back to that. Let's go to a weekly time frame now. So we know, before we leave this chart, we know we're still in a downtrend. The question is, will we get a continuation downtrend, a continuation breakdown? We don't know that yet. Only God knows that. Weekly chart. So we've retested the lower band of support. It's held. Good sign. Is it time to buy? Not according to the weekly chart so far. If we wanted to speculate earlier in the week, that would have been fine. Let's see whether or not TrendSpider is picking up any support or resistance levels. It's picking up a different resistance level than I am. It's using its. So let's respect it. I have at current a resistance level that coincides with TrendSpider. However, the longer we stay in the apex of this triangle formation, you'll have another resistance level above according to TrendSpider. So just be aware of that on any breakout. And at current, that's at around, well, right where mine is, about $7.85 per share. Let's go to a daily chart. A very nice outside reversal bar today on PBR. If you wanted to scratch the itch, one idea would be this, is if you get a pullback and a retest of $6.45 per share tomorrow, that's a good entry point. Scratch the itch. Very, very small. Test the trade. So that way, if you have to stop out, it's not a big loss. It's small. If you buy it and it starts going up, your trade was validated by the market. It says, check that box. You're on the money. Buy more on a breakout. So that's what I would do here. I would buy more on a retest of support. That's PBR. Kevin, I can go over Apple, but let's see whether TrendSpider picks it up in the after-hours session. It should. Not on a daily time frame. Let's do this. Let's identify support levels. Where are we now? $109.85 last tick. 108.59 was the bottom of the session. Session low, 108.59. Now let's bring up TrendSpider again. We're going to go to a monthly time frame. We are here at this support level in white at current. I think we break and we head down to $100 a share easy. Let's overlay some trend lines. TrendSpider, their support level is down here. It's rising. It may coincide with my support level if it takes a few days to get down there. But at current, they're at about $96 a share. So I'm going to create an alert at that support level. And we'll keep this active for the next couple of weeks. That's where I think we're going. We're probably going to see a 90 handle on Apple. What else do we have? We did PBR. We did Apple. Zoom. Monthly time frame. Not a bullish reversal bar, but a big topping tail. Very overbought. And you're seeing profit taking. Let's go to a weekly chart. Bearish key reversal bar. I think the next stop for Zoom is 478 per share. If that breaks, we go down to 457 per share. This is where I'd want to know. Given the current volatility after hours, I would want to trade it off of this support level, possibly. And again, we're going to keep this active. All I'm doing right now is I'm building a shopping list of potential swing trades, probably not tomorrow, but going out into next week. Daily chart. Yeah, we're coming down here. 457 a share. We're going lower. Take note of the lower highs. And frankly, today, folks, this is what I mean by a confirmation breakdown. We broke down below the low put in on October the 22nd. So this is a textbook picture of a confirmation breakdown on a stock. Lower high and a lower low on price. So shorts are going to lean into this. What will happen here, if you're looking for a short entry on Zoom, watch for a rally to try to recapture this support level. It'll probably fail. It'll rally up and into it because believe me, right now you have a lot of hot money out there. They're going to think that, wow, look at Zoom. Look at how low it is right now. It's a bargain. I'm going to catch a falling knife because they don't know it's a falling knife. They don't know by the charts that we've broken support. We have a confirmation breakdown. They're going to bid it back up. But unwittingly, they'll have fallen into a trap of the shares moving back up. They'll think that the bull market's back on. They'll get stopped dead at this wall of selling, a deluge of selling. And ultimately, it'll probably fail. And then we'll hit that price point that I've been talking about. So when you start seeing charts set up like this, you have to say to yourself, okay, if I'm net long of the market, is it time to start diversifying a bit? And that's what we've been doing. If you take a look at the trades that we've been swing trading of late, Twitter was a short. GDXJ, that was a long, but we held up for a while. That wasn't a swing trade. SQQQ, we shorted the market. That's short the Qs. Snapchat, I did a video on that, posted on YouTube. It was overbought. I got a couple of thumbs down on that too. Ticked me off. But I called it right. It sold off. U.S. Steel, that was an investment. I think we shorted again the Qs prior. Yeah, twice before we swing traded the Qs to the short side. So most of our swing trades have been short trades of late. So that's what we're doing. We're segueing out of high beta longs into high beta shorts and building longer positions in stocks that have already been beaten down. And when this economy opens up, which it will, you're going to see inflation heat up. Those stocks are going to go up. And don't forget about the supply chain shift out of China into Vietnam, India, South America, Mexico. Those stocks will benefit. OPTT. This is my alert expired on this one. I did a video on this. It's posted on YouTube and the blog. I was bearish short term on OPTT, but longer term bullish. So I spoke about it, I believe, I think here, the week of the 12th. Somebody could fact check me on that. It's posted on YouTube. Okay. So we were overbought relative to the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. I said on that commentary, we're going to go lower. Longer term, I like it. I like the monthly chart. It's very nice, but short term, watch for a move down lower. And my alert here this is my price target. It got hit, but my alert expired. So I'm going to reset this because I like it longer term. I really do. And I'll tell you why in a moment. And it doesn't matter who gets into the White House. You know, everybody's saying because if Trump gets reelected, that renewables are not going to do well. Renewables have been doing well before Biden was even a threat. So I don't believe that. So First Solar's earnings yesterday were outstanding. And I would have this down as a long-term investment. And I'll tell you why in a moment. It's not based upon the daily chart. It's not based upon the weekly chart. You want to step back and take a look at the higher level view. Where has this stock been to identify where it might be going? Let's overlay support levels. You can see that back here in April, this is when we were just coming out of a meltdown. We broke out. There was no talk of Joe Biden, nothing like that. Everything was about COVID. And we've been doing nothing but going up higher ever since. So we're having a long-term breakout on these shares. And I think that very short term, in the short term, I should say, these shares are going to become a buy. We have, even if we were to close out the month today, we have a monthly breakout, despite the fact that we have a huge, huge topping tail wick, candlestick, whatever you want to call it. It's a lot of profit taking on an overbought condition. Watch for a pullback next month, a retest of 158 per share. I would be a buyer at that support level. 158 per share. Where do we close out the day? 183. Totally achievable. Yeah, Eric, OPTT owns a niche in renewable that nobody else is doing. Speculative but interesting. Yes, I agree. Vietnam. Yeah, Vietnam, the VNM. VNM pulled back. It had a good day today, I believe. I did take a peek at it. Yeah. So we sold off Hardy. I think it's a buy. I think this is one where if you're having a conversation about a supply chain shift out of China, do you need validation? I can give you two pieces of validation. One, they're already seeing booming economic growth in Vietnam. China, if you take a look at GDP growth since COVID, there's only two economies, major economies that are growing. Vietnam, China. That's it. So the Chinese are so threatened by the Vietnamese right now, they're building a border wall to prevent skilled workers from leaving China to go into Vietnam for jobs. So would I go all in right here, right now on Vietnam? No, I would dollar cost average on this sucker for the next several years because if the supply chain is shifting. It's a fact. It's not. Back when I spoke about it first during COVID, because I said when we saw the news about COVID coming out and the markets were still going up, and I said I came online and I was even on TrendSpider's webinar and I said I'm bearish on the market. This was to Dan Ushman who was interviewing me. The markets are going up. The COVID news was coming out. Nobody was paying attention. I said this is war. This is war. And the supply chain shock hadn't hit reality yet. And ultimately it did. I said, you need to look at a divestiture of companies leaving Vietnam, leaving China, going into other markets due to, not because of their own free will. Companies are going to say, this is a national security concern. They're going to be forced to move out. So you're already seeing it absent legislation. Wait till the legislation comes around. You ain't seen nothing yet. So Vietnam, longer term, speculative investment, love it. JKS, we'll leave off with that. Kind of run out of time here, and I am beginning to fade. Oh, Jinx Solar. Yeah, this was overbought a while ago. Yeah. I remember this one. It's still overbought. Very, very overbought. I think we're going to pull back further here. Relative to the third standard deviation Bollinger Band, I think we're going to pull back. Right here. This is where I'd be interested in it. If we break 56.67, I already have an alert set. I already have an alert set. So once we hit this support level at around, let's call it $49 a share because it's rising, I'd be interested at that point in time. If we get a sell-off in the market, we had $49 a share, all in. It's trying to defend the support level. But I think that monthly chart is influencing me quite a bit. I think we may get a continuation pullback. Watch $49 a share. With that, folks, I'm going to say everybody have a great night. Please smash that like button. Thank you very much for joining in. I really appreciate it. Everybody have a great night and a great weekend, a profitable trading day tomorrow. Be well.